Okay.
What does love look like in the modern world?
Oh my God. Give me a bigger question, Lance.
Any sort of love is what connects people to feel like they exist.
Everyone's definition of love is different, so whether technology has helped or hindered that probably depends on how you define it in the first place.
The conversation is often framed, is technology harmful? Does it make people more lonely? We don't know. We just understand that they may modify the way we go about meeting our basic human needs, but they don't change our fundamental human needs.
Rabbit. Come spoon me.
How important is love in your life? Like, are you, at your current age and what you want to do, are you concentrating on your own creative work and artwork and what you're doing, or do you make a big priority out of like romantic relationships or love?
Well, that's a really good question because I just kind of gonna make a choice right now to go to Europe to find the guy I loved for many years, and he also loved me a long time. I guess we are twin flame for sure. Seriously, people will understand soulmate, and twin flame is just a little high level because you can have many soulmates, but you will only have one twin flame in this life.
I remember when I first started to fall in love with you like it was last night. Before that, I would just live my life like I knew everything. And suddenly this bright light hit me, woke me up. That light was you.
Right now, really, really, really lucky. The relationship I'm in now is, we're Aquarians born on the same day. Like there's an emotional kind of swirling world that I can't even compare to any other relationship or even think about trying to, look back at something else and apply it to this. It's its own new universe.
Keep walking. Keep walking. And stop. Now turn around 360 degrees. Slower, slower. Good.
What does love look like in any world, at any time? I know that as life goes on, that it is actually, and probably in a hackneyed way, it is definitely the antithesis of fear.
I don't think I can say anything to you.
That's nice.
What about you? You feel like you can say anything to me?
No.
What? What do you mean? What can you not tell me?
I don't know, like personal or embarrassing thoughts I have. I mean, I have a million a day.
Really? But tell me one.
Love in the modern world, that is a very broad question. I think it really does come down to the individual and what everyone's, needs are.
I don't know, Samantha. I don't think it's a good idea. I think somebody's feelings are bound to get hurt.
It'll be fun. We'll have fun together.
I'm sorry. It makes me uncomfortable.
You think it's gonna last forever because you kind of do have to think it will last forever because that's how you stay in that love bubble because you think you're gonna be with this person, and it ultimately ends. That's sad.
Keep waiting to not care about her.
Love is an intense thing to talk about. I don't know.
It's always the same breakup, the same conversations, the same issues. If some transgression wasn't the cause of it, then it's some sort of emotional lack of communication or just an inability to tolerate a person after a certain point.
It's like under 8 years, I can't believe how petty the argument was that actually ended it. We came home and he told me to put my shoes by the door where he liked to put the shoes, and I didn't want to be told where to put my shoes. I wanted to sit on the sofa and relax for a second, so we thought about that for like 10 minutes, and I just had to finally stop, and I had to finally stop because I just couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't be in that place anymore where we just made each other feel like shit about ourselves.
Relationships will end. They may end death. If they go great, then you're just, then someone's gonna watch their favorite person die. So But they're still the most important thing.
So what was it like being married?
You know, it's hard for sure. But there's something that feels so good about sharing your life with somebody.
How do you share your life with somebody?
At this point, I don't know what I would do without her. I know that's been said better, but it's horrifying actually. It's, I can't imagine not being with her, and for whatever reason, so. Sorry. This is getting heavy.
I'm a little bit jaded. I did just go through a breakup, so it was a little hard for me to speak about this in sort of a neutral tone. The separation is really kind of what stops me from starting it, because separation is just always so brutal. You've shared all these moments with somebody, and you've been so intimate, and you have to say we can't do that anymore.
How do you know when it's time for a relationship to end?
That's one of the most difficult things in the world.
Relationships really end themselves. I don't feel like, I don't seek out to end relationships, and I don't think people do. As time goes on, people change.
We fall in love with one version of someone, and then we expect them to stay that way, but they never do. So I suppose we're supposed to learn to really embrace the unknown, embrace evolution, and learn to kind of flow with it as a living organism.
Yeah, that's also the hard part. Growing apart. Changing without it scaring the other person.
I'm so madly in love. I'm so madly in love. And then I do evolve, and I start learning about stuff, and I start going off my own direction and growing and learning about new stuff and getting excited about things, and this person's not really with me. Or even if they could be, I decide, well, they don't get it. They don't get the new me. I don't know if you've ever gone through that. You wake up one morning and you look at the person next to you that you were madly in love in this love bubble with, and you just feel nothing for them, and there's no going back. I don't know why I'm telling you all this shit. I mean, this bad.
Tonight after you were gone, I thought a lot about you and how you've been treating me, and I thought, why do I love you?
It's very hard to break up with somebody that you love. Love is not necessarily enough, because I've been divorced, and I just went through a breakup less than a month ago. So, the idea of heartache and limitations of love is fresh.
I've definitely not been proud of who I became in a relationship. How much of a stranger I became to myself, I guess.
But it does make me very sad that you can't handle real emotions, Theodore.
They are real emotions. How would you know?
What? Say it. Am I really that scary? Say it.
My fiance and I, we live together, and we both work from home. She's a creative person as well. She's an illustrator. So she's always working crazy hours, and I'm always working crazy hours, and we're always looking for the next pitch, which is coming from the web or from unknown source. We don't have a regularity to our workflow in that way, and I think those things get tied up in your relationship, and it becomes more than just love. Essentially, you need to be a team. You need to be able to work together.
Are you serious? He's gonna publish letters?
Well, he'd be stupid not to.
Can I see what you said?
Yeah, here.
Samantha, you're a good one.
Recently I was thinking about relationships like shoes, and how it's cheaper to buy new shoes than work on the shoes that you really love and care about, and getting new soles because it's expensive. And I was like, I never want to treat my shoe that way. And I was like, I never want to treat a relationship that way. I don't want to wear something out and not take care of it until it's broken, or until it's unfixable.
A lot of people are questioning paradigms that are sort of crumbling around them. I think we live in a moment where basically every central illusion in our society is exhausted. I think monogamy is another one of those institutions that people are looking at and saying, this really doesn't work. It hasn't worked for a long time.
I've been single my whole life. And I'm 34 years old, and in my first relationship of my life. I had relationships that had emotional components to them, but they didn't have longevity or real connectedness. So I'd have long distance relationships, which I've come to think of are pretty much just a kind of shielding yourself from true intimacy. At a certain point, I started to get to this age where I thought, this is never going to change for me. I grew to accept it, but I also felt like, well, I'm missing this really fundamental human experience. Like, I have this really fully formed life in every aspect, but this part that people think is like so significant and important.
How do you see people connecting and starting new relationships in the modern world?